And we're live. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View here on a Sunday evening as we are here to talk Schmoedown and a number of other things on POV. As you can see, we are one member short tonight. Molly is out tonight, but she will be back later this week. We will see her on reactions and next week's show and all that good stuff. But for now, I got Jill. I got Brian. How you guys doing? Weekend good?
Yeah. It's actually a solid weekend. I had a brunch yesterday, so that was nice. Today one of my best friends officially asked me to be her bridesmaid at her wedding next year, so that was exciting. And I get my first dose of the vaccine on Thursday.
Jill's already having a good week.
It's a solid week, man. It is a solid week.
You might be the most excited person I've heard yet for the vaccine.
I'm so freaking. I've never in my life would think I would be so excited to get a damn shot. Like I'm just like, put it in my arm, coach. Let's go. Let's do this thing. Gotta frame that piece of paper in my bedroom. Great, let's go.
It's funny that you said that because I thought about getting mine labeled when I'm done with it.
I think because the thing is, they're gonna maybe write on it again, like if you need another booster. Like that's why I wouldn't laminate it. But like,
that's true.
Once the card's like filled out, laminate it, man. Keep it in your wallet. To be like, I'm vaxxed.
To Robert Adams' comment that I looked like I finished playing Chop Till You Dropped. I used to love that show.
That show is
if that was a dig, is that a compliment? I'm taking it as a compliment because that show was so good.
I love the fact that people love to come after you on this show.
Always.
They love to come after you.
That's fine. I'm totally fine with that. I a hot mess right now. I finished my challenge thing. I did 10 miles in a weekend.
Look at you.
So I drove home as fast as I can, hopped in the shower. That's why my hair is all poofy. And ran over here. So bring it on.
That's rad. I'm so freaking proud of you, man. 10 miles in a weekend. That's no joke.
I'm going to literally roll out of the bed tomorrow.
At least you're off this week. So whatever. You do you.
But I'm literally just gonna be like 1, 2, 3, roll, and that's how I'm gonna get roll. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, we obviously have a very good show planned tonight. We'll be getting into some matches. We'll be talking about the matches that happened this past week. We'll definitely be discussing the matches that are happening this week because a lot is happening this week. Not just in the world of Schmoedown, but also for us as well. If you guys don't know already, the next episode of Happy Hour is next Saturday. So that is coming just around the corner. But let's get into it because we are here to start the show off and talk with someone who is heavily involved / running the First Class League, the new developmental league for the Schmoedown. And we're going to pick his brain a little bit, get some inside info from him. And that is the BOAT himself, Mr. Brad Gilmore.
Oh my God, I am here.
Oh my God, you're my dream boat for sure.
Let me hit all my stuff.
Brad Gilmore in this bitch.
How's everybody doing?
It's good. You know what's so funny about that? I scrubbed through some rundown episodes to try to clip out your clip, but the music was playing behind it, and I was like, he'll probably have it himself anyway.
Oh my God, you're my dream boat for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. So
Perfect.
it works.
Hey, so look, I'm excited to be here. Let's start off with a couple of problems I have. Okay.
Oh God, here we go.
Okay, couple things. No. One of them I'm looking out for Jill and Brian. One of them I'm looking out for the two of you. The other one, it's more of a criticism overall. In the logo of the show, there is no Back to the Future reference at all. You know what I mean? I see a Jurassic Park. I see Iron Man.
The DeLorean's in there.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, show me.
No, it's not.
Show me.
I thought the
It's
DeLorean
not.
was in there.
There's no look. Do you see I see a lightning
Yeah,
bolt?
the arrow, Brad. The arrow.
It's the arrow.
Come on,
oh
Brad.
my. Okay, you know what? I rescind my remarks. I thought that Jake was about to make like a case for the lightning bolt being the Back to the Future thing, and I was really gonna have a bigger problem. Okay, then this is the real. Then let me get to the heart of the real issue.
Okay.
I'm looking at the banner at the top. Okay, and Brian and Jill, I don't know if y'all have investigated this at all. But it says streamlabs.com/JakeBerlin/tip. Do you know what I mean? Everything else is branded Schmoedown POV, patreon.com/a certain POV. Everything else seems to be in order, except for Jake has made the Streamlabs directly to himself. I don't know if this has concerned either one of you, but it's something that I noticed that I was going to look out for.
Absolutely.
Wait, hold on a second. Brian is going to crap on me, and Jill's going to defend me. That's exactly.
I am. I will say everything is all
Exactly what's
figured
gonna
out.
happen.
It's all fine. It just happens to because he runs a lot of channels, and so
It's the channel. The channel is connected to my email originally, and when it first started in Streamlabs, unless you pay for a subscription, you can't change your domain. And so, right at the moment, it's just stuck at Jake Berlin. So,
I think this is something we should investigate. Like, let's get it. Let's get an account. Let's get a CPA
They have
on
nothing
this
to say. I pay them. I pay them monthly. They got nothing to say.
I know. I get my little Venmo alert every month, so all's good here.
Monthly. Okay, now we've discovered the next problem. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, listen.
See, because I was a little hot though at y'all initially because we had the Back to the Future centric logo. Like the first certain point of view was all Back to the Future. So that's why I was a little hot when y'all changed it. But I understand. Anyway, this is your show. I'm here.
I honestly thought you were going to come after us because you didn't see enough of your book in the background.
Now I see. No, I know. Look, Brian. If there's anybody I'm going to come after, it's never going to be you. Okay, it's never going to be you. We're 1-on-1 here. It's more so my man right here.
Always.
My man right here.
I'll take the heat.
No, thanks for having me on, guys. Thanks for having
me. Of course. Glad to have you here, man. We've been trying to get this worked out and finally here, and I love it. Get to talk to
I'm now disappointed in myself that it's not back here.
Jeez, Jake.
For a half second, I thought you gave Gabby the eye, like, go run and find the book.
Go get the book.
No, that's what he did.
He totally did.
That's what he did. I mean, here's the thing. We all know
it's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Yeah. See, there's a lot of stuff back there.
You don't have to lie to kick it, Jake. You don't have to lie to kick it, man. I'm here. Okay, you got me here.
All right. So real quick before we get into anything, we do have a Streamlabs from the PLD himself, or Stream.
That's it. That is a super chat.
Super chat. FCL. Yes, we are here to talk FCL. But before we get to the FCL, I do want to talk to Brad real quick just about everything that's happened in the Schmoedown so far.
Yeah.
I haven't talked much to you since the season has started.
Right.
It's been awesome. What have your been thoughts on it so far?
Oh man, it was great. I love the how we have unofficially started the season with the Mara and Molly. Obviously Molly performed so well, and then as that pay-per-view and Mara coming back to win was just such a great way to start. You know what? That pay-per-view could have started or ended the season, and it would have been like a great kickoff or a great closing of the book. But ever since then, man, everything's really been firing off on all cylinders. I've enjoyed IG immensely this season, and we've already had some highly debated, kerfuffles, if you will, with questions and answers and no challenges and stuff like that, which is always fun. I like you know what I mean? I like the drama. But the thing more about it than anything is we're back to stories. And that was something that we really lost last season. We didn't, not fully because there was the Schmoedown thing, but overall we didn't get that consistent week-to-week story because these guys were, what up, Brian Ward? These guys were, having to produce this show on the fly in a COVID era where everyone was still trying to figure everything out. So I wasn't mad at it, but I'm glad that we already have, story back in the Schmoedown, and Grace Hancock is running things, and Christian apparently not great at reading contracts. Just like overall, if you look at his history, I'm serious. If you look at his history in the Schmoedown, he's not that great at it. Like, someone's always able to take over.
He needs a lawyer. He needs a lawyer to really get.
Well, he had a lawyer.
Paulie. He did have a lawyer.
That's right. Yeah. What happened to Paulie? Where is he?
I don't know. He fell on hard times. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I love it. I love it.
Rage quit.
I loved the rage quit.
Yeah. The rage quit was good.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. So look, we're here to talk some FCL, and it's. I know a lot have been talking about it throughout the league, but we don't really have any kind of deep details or info on what's going on with the FCL right now. It premieres here in just a few weeks, March 30th, if I'm not mistaken, which is a Tuesday, over on Twitch. Correct?
3 PST.
Yeah, so it's right around the corner. How's it going behind the scenes and the process and everyone that you're working with, and is it coming along just as you kind of imagined?
Well, to be honest, I didn't know what to imagine from the get-go because I've never started a trivia league. So getting into it, they're all. Here's the thing: I've been involved in creative environments for my entire adult life, and really my entire life, and you always run into the same challenges, and then you always run into ones that you didn't even consider. And what's great is Christian has been an endless source of information and a great wall for me to bounce things off of. But I also have a great team. That team is Paul Denuzio, a guy that you just highlighted a minute ago. Paul and I now talk on a consistent basis every single day. We have Sandy, the Canadian, as I call him, who's helping out a lot because he's from Canada. That's why I call him that, Jake. I know you're a little slow sometimes, so I just want to let you. Sometimes Jake's a step behind, so I just wanted to make sure, because he was just like, it's the 30th, right? That's a Tuesday. We just said it before we started, Jake. We just did this before we started.
We talked about this.
But no, I have a great team.
Can Brad be a regular? Because he poops all over Jake, and I'm here for it.
But no, we have a great team. And we've been running into challenges from the get-go, but it's not as easy as adapting over everything that the Schmoedown has already done and then just doing it again. It's creating this entire separate league. I really liken it to the XFL. Like, you have the NFL, you have this major blueprint, but now you've got to adapt everything for your own benefit. And we're not going to do everything the exact same way on the behind the scenes side that I'm sure that the Schmoedown has been. Their team is much bigger than ours. So we're having to be very creative, and Paul has taken over. He's the executive producer of the FCL. Of course, I'm the commissioner. And with him, Sandy and I and the rest of the team, Dwayne, Grace, there's so many people that we've added on, Danny. We've really just hit the ground running as much as possible. And here's the thing too, is how can I put this? Like, I work better when there's an end date in mind. When I first talked to Christian, he was like, yeah, maybe sometime in March or April. And so it was kind of ambiguous. And as soon as we got that 30th date, that's when I really kicked into high gear, and we're like, okay, we've got to find out every single inch of it. So I'm really interested for the people to see. I'm excited for the people to see what we have planned for you all, and the details publicly have been sparse by design. By design, I want people to tune in on that Tuesday with all the curiosity in the world and see what we're able to put together live. All these matches are going to be live. There's not going to be taped matches in the FCL ever. Everything is going to be live every single Tuesday for 2 hours. You can get more Schmoedown entertainment for yourself. So I'm excited, man. I really am. This is something that I didn't think when I started my Schmoedown journey I would find myself in this position, but here I am, and we're going with it.
So excited.
I love it.
The more Schmoedown content, the better, in my opinion. Like, and especially with that fact that the FCL is all I'm assuming all new players. So
for the most part, yeah.
I'm assuming all new players. And so just that alone in itself, just having this new blood come in and having it all be live is also very intriguing to me, because that's not the case with the real, for them to come in potentially doing their first match and it's live.
Yeah,
wow.
It's all going to be live. And because we remember how great the Star Wars matches were last year.
Yes.
In the live environment on Twitch. And really wanted to replicate that same energy. And there's something about being live. And I've always enjoyed performing live, whether that be on a stage or via the internet nowadays, because something's going to go wrong, and I always enjoy that atmosphere. I remember we worked with somebody at Reality of Wrestling.
You're an agent of chaos. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, I like when things start to go wrong. I do, because that's where I thrive, really. Because we worked with this guy at Reality of Wrestling. I'm going into my 9th year with Reality Wrestling, and we worked with a guy named Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard's now back at WWE. He's the right-hand man to Vince McMahon. And I remember asking him, what's the best piece of advice Vince ever gave you in terms of, production? And he said the best piece of advice Vince ever gave was, it can't go wrong if it's live. If something starts to go off, just roll with it. It can't go wrong if it's live. So that's the thing that really the philosophy I've always adapted. So I know things aren't going to always be 100% perfect, but the fact that somebody might lose it live. You know, we might have like breakdowns live. You know, someone might just exit the match live because they know you don't know what's going to happen, and that's what I love about it the most. It's going to be that environment, and you never know who's going to show up, right?
Yeah.
You never know who's going to crash the stage in a live environment.
true.
I can't control that. I wish that I could. I wish that I could control everything. But, you know, if somebody jumps in, they jump in. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm even more intrigued.
Yeah,
I know that.
That's-
Dangle the carrot a little bit.
I know. Jeez.
We do have a super chat from the pun master himself, Billy P. Here. He says, this question is for Brad. As a new commissioner of a league, what have you learned or had any advice from past commissioners?
Well, you know, obviously I've been talking to Christians so much. And the thing is, although the managing of trivia talent isn't something that I've done before, being a executive producer and head writer and commentator for Reality of Wrestling for the last 9 years, I've dealt with nothing but wrestling personalities who, if you've ever been around them, can be very interesting to deal with at times. And I love all those guys, but we all have our self-image, our public face, our ego, right? And that was one of the things that I was warned about. Like, be aware that there's all these kind of personalities, and there's all these going to be sometimes a clash of your vision and their vision or what have you. And I haven't had any of that so far. And I think that everybody who we've extended an invitation to thus far is just excited to play, and they're all being team sports about it. And that's someone I really forgot to leave out when we were talking about the kind of the creation of this thing, is the talent that we have in the FCL. Everybody has really looked at it through that lens of just pure excitement, down for the cause, roll with the punches. We're all a team here. We're all trying to lift this thing off of the ground. So it's really been a pleasure for me to be able to work with so many talented people, both behind the scenes and the people who are going to be the talent, the lifeblood of the FCL.
I'm so excited. I like just the fact that the Schmoedown has gotten so big to the point where we have this new league coming in is just so freaking amazing to me. Like, we have so many people who want to be a part of it, and now we can get more people to be a part of this community. And I cannot wait for the 30th. I'll be at work, but you bet I will be there with my earbuds, and I'm gonna have that on live, and I'm gonna be there for every episode and bring it to me. The more Schmoedown content in my life, the better. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is with Twitch, we're gonna do so many things over on that channel. Other than the FCL, and those details are coming soon, but to just have this ability to also introduce talent that people might not know. I mean, the thing is, for a lot of the rookies last year and really this year, they didn't have a stomping ground. Sure, there were the other leagues, there were the fan leagues and things of that nature. This is going to be the most true to form audition, if you will, or camp to get you ready for the actual Schmoedown. So if you come in and you show up and show out, trust me, Christian's watching. All the managers are watching. And, you know, you could see FCL talent as soon as this year jump from the FCL to the Schmoedown proper. I mean, wow. I'm guaranteeing it's going to happen. And what I am basing the success of this league on is not how many views we get, records of matches or I'm not basing it on any of that. The thing I'm basing it on is how many of our talent end up on a faction in the movie Trivia Schmoedown. That's my goal. If we have a roster of 40, which I think we're around right now,
wow.
40 people.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Whoa, I was going to ask you if you could. I was going to ask you if you could tell us.
Honestly, that's a much bigger number than I was expecting, but it's a number that I'm very excited about because the possibilities are they're endless right now, it seems like, for the FCL. And this is only the first year.
Yeah, wow. I mean, first season of the FCL. And so for the roster of 40 that we have now, if I can get 15, 20 of those players to the Schmoedown, I mean, that's a success. I mean, I can get 5 of those players to the Schmoedown, it's a success. But that's the goal, right? Yeah. That's the goal. The goal is if you went undrafted or you're unproven, you're just somebody out there, even if you're across the pond or you're in another country or you're wherever it is, if you're in Des Moines, Iowa, or Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, or wherever the hell you're from, and you don't have a platform to show your skill, that's what we're going to have for the FCL. So, because I think there's a lot of talent that was passed up in the draft. There was a lot of talent passed up in the draft, and I'm sad that we don't get to see them play, on a faction. so far, but I'm actually glad that I was able to get my hands on some of these people. It was funny. I had a conversation with Christian before the draft, and he was like, "You're going to be looking at this completely differently than you were, at the Comedy Store a year prior. You're going to be looking at who doesn't get drafted as opposed to who does get drafted." And that was so true. Every time they'd pick somebody up, I'd be like, "Damn it. I wanted that guy.
I wanted that guy."
Why did you make a good move? I wanted that person.
We do have a couple Streamlabs that I do want to get to. First one is from
these are the ones that go straight to Jake Berlin's account.
These are the ones that go straight
Apparently.
to me.
Okay,
Yes.
To be honest, we don't even know if the super chats come to us.
We don't know anything. I'm telling you, we gotta really comb through this.
Yeah.
We gotta audit Jake Berlin.
Classic Cads,
Yes.
Thank you for donating directly to me. All new, all live, all first class is his donation. And then the next one actually comes from one of those people who was passed up in the draft, and that is Mr. Ross Arsenault. And he has a comment here. It says, "Great show as always. Can't wait for the FCL to launch. What are the odds there will be managers this year in the FCL? Also, what type of person or character might fill those managerial roles? Either way, hats off to the work from the FCL team. Hashtag Brad won the draft."
Thank you.
Oh.
Well, to answer some of those, as far as factions and or managers in the way that we see them in the movie trivia Schmoedown, I have no interest in doing that at this moment. Right? I don't want teams. I don't want drafts. I don't want any of that. Not that it doesn't work for the MTS, but it's just going to overcomplicate a process that's already complicated when you're trying to get this thing off the ground. There's a reason why it didn't start off that way in the Schmoedown. It started off the way that we're starting off, where everyone's essentially a free agent. And, you don't have roster spots you have to be concerned with and point systems and all that. Look, man, my brain doesn't work for that. There's a reason I was a liberal arts major. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to deal with points. You know what I mean? Anything that has to do with math. That's why we have Frank, right? Like I don't want to do any of that.
That's what Frank is here for. He's the number
When
guy.
Frank explained PPE, his stat for PPE to me, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but you know what? Put it on the screen. It sounds good.
Sure.
It sounds good, and and he's cute when he talks about it. But yeah, I don't have any interest in that. And to be honest with you, I don't think, and this might bum some people out, but at least at this present moment, I don't have any plans for a teams division at all at this moment. At this moment, again, very complicated in a digital format. It's not something that I'm looking at initially. I think that we're going to start off with singles, and then soon after that, you're going to have IG and Star Wars, and those are going to be the places that we live in for the majority of at least this season. If we are lucky enough to continue on past season 1 of the FCL, which I have all hopes, dreams, and assurance that will happen, then we can look at things like teams and factions and managers and stuff of that nature. Right now, I'm not even thinking about it.
I mean, I agree. I kind of agree with just the focusing on just with no teams, because really with FCL, you want to focus on the individual because you want to push them to the next league. And so in my opinion, I completely agree with that. I see no issue with that. So
it makes more sense.
Yeah. It makes sense.
I mean, if you're playing with someone, how do you know that they're not going to look better than you while you're playing with them? And then that makes you look not as good. You might be doing good one day, and then the next day your partner looks better than you.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to kind of just do a singles, Inner Geekdom, Star Wars, because, I mean, the focus is on that player, not is this team really good? Because chances are, when a draft comes around, if this is still going and everything, you're not going to – I mean, the rarity of getting that team come around, probably a little less than you would want. So, I mean, it makes more sense to be more focused on the individual than it is a team.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Brian, you kind of hit the nail on the head there in regards to some of the other conversations that we had of why we don't want to do that. Because this really is a focus on the pure talent, the singles talent. Not too many teams. Like, say we had a teams division. Like, teams aren't going to be drafted or called up together.
No,
exactly.
Because there's a finite number of spots, and you might not want to do that if you're a manager. So that's why we are looking for the individual talent itself. Yeah, makes sense.
That makes sense.
You had mentioned when we were talking about like factions and managers and stuff that you weren't really looking into doing the points and everything right now. So does that mean you're going back to the old school way of looking at records and someone's path of winning matches and who they faced, or is there going to be a process of how someone gets to a title match?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is going to be just like boxing, UFC, or Schmoedown of old. You look at records, you look at how impressive those wins were. You know, sometimes you see in the UFC if a guy may not have the best record, but then he beats a high-ranked contender and he like knocks him out, he might be right in line for a title shot next up. It's just going to be a situational basis, but for the most part, yeah, it's going to be like the Schmoedown of old. You know, do you have a winning record? You know, what's your win streak like? What's your all those things? That's what we're going to be looking at. And right now, we don't have any champions. Obviously, there's no championships in the FCL, but there will be. I've seen some of the designs for the FCL title, and I'm very excited about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm very excited about it.
Is it going to be a belt?
Yes, of course. Okay. Yes, it's going to be.
No.
A belt holds your pants up, Jake. This is going to be a championship title, representative of the #1 person in the FCL. It's not going to be a belt. You can't go to Kmart and buy 2 for $10, and it can't be reversible. Okay, this is a prestigious award, a championship representative of hard work, determination, dedication, knowledge, understanding, and know-how. It's not a belt. But continue.
So this season in the FCL, we are going to see tournaments and championship matches.
There definitely championship matches, definitely, and tournaments, sure, yeah. No,
I mean, can you confirm or deny, or do you?
No, I mean,
how much can you tell us?
I'm not prepared to say how we're going to come to the first championship match. Mm-hmm. That could be something as I look at the first 6 matches we have and say, oh, you know what, these 2 look like they should go up for the title, or I could say, look, here are the winners from those first 12 matches or what have you. Mm-hmm. Let's do a tournament. I'm gonna leave you in suspense. All right, stop with all the questions. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, these are things that are going to unfold as we see the progression. And my favorite thing that I'm going to get to bring to it, I think, is why Christian even called me initially to take on this position, is my experience in the wrestling business and writing, not matching people up, but writing stories. And coming up with the storylines and the characters and the development of that. That's something that I've always loved. The first time I ever wrote a story for wrestling and then I got to see it acted out in the ring.
Must be surreal.
It's an exhilarating experience. And as much as I love being a performer myself and getting, the opportunity to do the Schmoedown Rundown or to commentate with Booker and all these things, I love that. But as I've gotten older, and I don't know if this happens with everybody, but you're more excited to see somebody else, help somebody else unleash their talents to the world or hone in on it. Or when I'm like, oh man, look at what you did here. You need to expand that, be bigger with this. Or you can go that's how my brain works now. And that's what I'm excited to do with the FCL is when I see somebody, like this is somebody who has been announced, David Campbell is joining the FCL, and he announced that on another show, a competitor of yours, I believe. But when I see a guy like him,
who got scooped before us?
Who got scooped?
I don't know. Look, here's this thing. There's all these other shows, but we all know there's only one show that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just Schmoedown Rundown. So,
isn't that the name of the?
Oh my God, you're my dreamboat for sure.
Sorry.
Isn't that the name of the Podcast of the Year award? Oh wait, no, it's not Podcast of the Year award yet. Huh.
The Schmoedown Rundown Award.
Yeah, it's called the Rundown Award, Brian. Might want to do some research into why that would be.
So Brad, to confirm,
Yes.
we are going to get storylines in the FCL.
Oh yes.
Love it.
Wait, hold on.
yeah.
Love it.
And you know what? That confirmation comes with the Great Scott moment of the night. Can I get a Great Scott?
Great Scott. Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
Love
we're
it.
getting storylines for sure. For sure.
Perfect.
That's what drew me to the movie trivia Schmoedown. I didn't care initially. I didn't care about movie trivia and point values and that wasn't my interest. My interest was, who's this John Rogan guy? He seems a little crazy. He seems like a wrestling guy.
That was me. I get maybe 2 points in a match. I don't know movies, but that's what brought me in is the storylines, these characters. And so to be able to see that in the FCL now is oof. I'm so stoked.
It's really the whole reason I'd even want to take on a gargantuan task such as this, because trust me, it hasn't been the easiest thing in the world, and nor that I expect it to be. But I'm excited to see, like I said, talent, story, mystery, suspense, murder. Yeah, there's going to be murder in the FCL.
Yes, we want.
If you lose, you die.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, these are all things that made me love. Like, I didn't even watch it when I was a wrestling fan. Well, I am a wrestling fan. When I started as a wrestling fan, I didn't watch because I wanted to see, moves. I wanted to watch because these characters, these over the top, larger than life characters like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Booker T, Chris Jericho, all these guys, they're the reason I watched. I watched for the story of it, and that's what I'm going to. Yeah, Brandy, that's what I'm going to be excited the most about. And our play is going to be second to none. Let everybody know, Brandy. Let them all know.
I'm just a fan of this comment right here.
Oh, crap. Sorry.
Wait, there's
Go ahead.
another,
one right here.
Okay, prepare. It's not a belt, Brian.
My name is Ron Joka. I'm
Ron
a new
Joka.
competitor.
Jake, what was the reaction we watched where the belt was like that big?
Oh yeah, it was some match from back in the day.
Oh my gosh, was it Makuga? Was it a Makuga match? Oh no, it was Mark Ellis.
Yes, it was
Mark
Ellis and
Roca.
Merle, Ellis and Roca.
It was Ellis and Roca, and the belt was this tiny.
It like fit around your wrist. It was tiny.
Yeah.
All right, we do have a super chat that's coming from Foosgills, and he had said, "Will you experiment with different kinds of divisions? Possibly, like we have. I mean, it's been a hot topic in the Schmoedown. Obviously, seeing stuff like Marvel and Disney and stuff like that. Is that something you're looking to do in the future too?"
Yeah, I mean, everything's on the table and they've all been discussed. Obviously, here's the other thing. Obviously, the main goal of the FCL is to be a pipeline to the Schmoedown. So it'd be kind of hard to develop a Marvel division if there's no Marvel division in the Schmoedown. Like, it kind of defeats the purpose of a developmental league. The developmental league isn't just to have fun and go balls to the wall and say, I want to do a such and such division, right? I want to step up division or anything like that. It was the only random move I could think of at the time.
Step up division.
I was like, what?
Yeah, we're not going to do a step up division. I don't know if that's a shocker to anybody, but it's to have a direct pipeline. So it's a little counterintuitive to want to start that in the onset, but I think as we continue on, maybe past the inaugural season, there's going to be players, and I hope this is no shock to anybody, but I'm sure there's going to be players who are going to be FCL players, right? They're going to be probably consistent. I hope that all 40 of my players go to the Schmoedown proper, but there's just not enough space for everybody, right? In the movie trivia Schmoedown, there's a finite number of roster spots. So there's going to be people who I'm sure are going to be constants, and when we have that ability to play around a little bit more, I'd love to experiment with Disney division or a Marvel division or a step up division, like I said before. But
if you ever do a Disney division, where you can just message me whenever you want. I'm here.
There we go. Let me write a note here.
Yeah, write a note. Right, put it down.
But yeah, I mean, right now there's no plans of it. Again, it's singles Star Wars Inner Geekdom because that's who we want to see advance to the next level.
Makes sense.
It's fair to say.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
It's fair to say that the rules are the same, right?
Yeah.
There's no. Okay. I just want to make sure of that.
Yeah. Except for the Statue of Liberty rule that we are going to enact. It's in paragraph 17 of the FCL revision, and I'll explain it whenever we get there.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Statue of Liberty rule.
What about experimentation with different ideas that maybe the Schmoedown isn't doing? New rules, new ideas, something like that?
It's something that I want to do. And as long as they make sense, right? Because I was really excited to see the timeout rule in the Schmoedown itself, and I know that's been done away with. And, if the opportunity presents itself to try something, it's something that I would like to do. I mean, they do it in the minors in baseball, even in college basketball. They'll try different things out to see if it makes sense to adapt to the main leagues. I'd like to try it, Sometimes, though, I just don't want it to be gimmicky. And that's kind of my reservation. In my comparison to the XFL, I remember watching the XFL last season at the beginning of 2020, and there was like a lot of like gimmicky things, right? Like you could have a 1, 2, or 3 point after touchdown, and you can run it in from the 20, the 10, or the 5. It's just got too confusing. So I don't want to do anything that's just such a departure from what we know as the game. But the example I've given before is like in the NBA, when you shoot your free throws, you shoot 2, right? and if you miss on the second one, rebound, you can get it back up. Whatever. In college, and you probably know this, Jake, because I know for some reason you're a Sacramento Kings fan, but nevertheless you're a basketball fan. If you go in college, when you do for the free throws, you go 1 for 1, right?
Yes.
You go 1 for 1.
Yeah.
So that's a small difference between the college and the pros. Things like that, like small things, I'd like to tinker with if it makes sense. Like I have this new idea of how we're going to do the challenges. I'm not gonna go into it yet because it's it's not in concrete. But I have this idea of how we're going to do challenges. I was talking about it to Paul Denuzio earlier. It's going to be a small, slight departure from the movie trivia Schmoedown proper. And I think if it's pulled off right, it's something they're going to adapt, like 100%. And that's another goal. Again, I don't want to try something just to be gimmicky. I want to try something that can be practical and implemented if it's successcul.
Makes sense.
I love it.
Yeah,
Of course it makes sense, Brian. Everything I say makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, and then if it gets brought up to Schmoedown, you can say I did that.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
what
because
you really
I'm
right?
really only in it for credit. Yeah. I'm in it for credit to us.
Yeah. An ego, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I know this was talked about a few weeks ago that Rachel Cushing is going to be involved. That she's going to be on the desk. Are you going to be on the desk calling matches, or are there talks of other people joining as well, possibly?
Yeah, there's going to be a multitude of people who are going to be a rotating cast of characters at the desk. I will probably, at least for the onset, be the most constant person that you will see. I will definitely be on the desk for the entirety of each stream. For the beginning, I'd like to be able to bring more talent in and have people do it on their own, and we'll get to that. But sure, I've already talked to several of your favorite movie trivia Schmoedown personalities who have both been in the ring, on the desk, behind the scenes, interviewer. I mean, all kinds of people, and they've all either reached out to me or I've reached out to them, and they're going to be on the desk. So you're going to see some familiar faces throughout, and it's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. And it's exciting also to give people the opportunity. Again, it's a pipeline. So if you do really well as a commentator for the FCL, Christian and the powers that be will be watching, and they'll say, "Hey, let's try him or her up on the MTS proper."
So it's even more than just the players that could get
100%. Even if you are say we do bring in somebody who's going to be the mouthpiece, like the John Kaiser was for Kevin Smets at the beginning, they could get the opportunity. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh man, we really like this guy or girl as an interviewer or personality, or maybe they could be a manager if we expand the league in factions. There's going to be those kind of opportunities, and that's what I want to create. I want to create the availability for opportunity.
Wow, this is becoming so much bigger, than I had anticipated, and I'm just tell me more.
Well, you know what's so funny?
Tell me more.
Sean Sullivan, you heard it first. Your Schmoedown favorites like me. So the issue, throw that back up. Put that comment back up on the screen if you can. Issue I have with this comment is he's making an inference that he is a favorite of anybody's, right, in the Schmoedown. That's just really.
He's my favorite.
Oh.
Do you see who is in that picture right there? In that picture with him, sir? Definitely a favorite of mine. Jeez, Brad.
Look, I can't let you get off scot-free. I've been taking shots at Brian and Jake.
Okay, that's fair. That's valid. I'll allow it.
What I'm surprised at. Go ahead.
No, go. You're the guest.
No, Brian, it's okay, man. You don't have to get nervous. It's all right.
I'm fine. I'm chilling. I just need to know, is Booker T's keys to victory going to be a thing again?
Oh, you know what? That's interesting. And I'd be lying to say if it hasn't mulled around in my idea, in my mind of if can I bring this back. You have to wait and see.
Okay.
You have to wait and see.
We did a reaction for our patrons last week, and I think it might have been the first time that Brian and Jill had ever seen Booker do his.
I got real excited because I was like, "Oh, it's
Booker!" Yeah. No, those were fun. I mean, that was really my introduction into the Schmoedown. Is doing the keys to victory of Booker, and then I think that they had me on the rundown as a guest, and then next thing you know, here I am running a developmental league. It's kind of weird how the world works. I'm surprised. This is the thing that I've been most surprised about the reaction to the FCL. I'm so surprised about this. And no one's brought it up. No one's asked. I've got not one tweet, nothing about this. And I'm so shocked No one has asked where the name comes from.
Okay, explain.
Nobody.
Where does the name come from?
But no, wait, look, it wasn't on your list of questions, so why would I give you this kind of information?
Okay,
She's wondering why.
It's actually on mine.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Show me your whiteboard. Show it to me.
No.
Show it to me. Show it to me.
You're going to ask me.
You know what? Everybody
Not
know
here.
this from now on. Brian is a known liar. He is a known
Name.
liar. What does that say?
Name.
He wrote that down because he wanted to make sure he could name all 5 members of NSYNC. Okay, I don't know why you have name
Brad,
written down on your
can you
whiteboard.
name all 5 members of NSYNC?
Oh.
Absolutely, Lance Bass, Chris Kirkpatrick, JC Chazet, Joey Fatone, and JT Justin Timberlake. Of course, I can do that.
Wow.
Jeffrey says it comes from the 2011 X-Men film. Not completely wrong. Not completely wrong. We were trying to come up with a name for the FCL, and I was kicking around ideas, trying to figure it out. And I texted Christian. I just had this like kind of, I don't know, epiphany, you know. As Bob Haskins said as Shmee in what was that movie? Hook. He said, lightning just struck my brain, right? And I was thinking about this season coming up of the Schmoedown was a war, right? And I think about when you kind of start off in the military, you're a private first class, right? Private first class. So I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I thought of the 2011 X-Men film. It's like the first class of X-Men. This is the first class of impending movie trivia Schmoedown people. So I kind of threw that around, and I remember texting Christian. I was like, what do you think about calling it first class, like the first class league, FCL for short? And I think he just texted back, love it, and then boom, we went on. And what's great is it's been like everyone's called it the FCL, which was like the whole purpose.
Yeah.
I wanted him to call it FCL. It's great. So it's all worked out. But nobody's asked me that. I'm glad that Jeffrey picked up on the 2011. He made sure to he's auditioning for the league. He's like, I want you to know that X-Men.
He's in the Schmoedown.
He's in it.
Finstock Exchange.
No, I know, but auditioning for the FCL. They want to join everyone wants to join the FCL. There are going to be people who are going to. You remember in Coming to America where he revokes his throne, right, in the subway. I don't know how many of y'all know Coming to America like I do.
Yes.
But he's like, I revoked my.
Yes.
You know, right. People are going to do that. I know. Listen, I talk about this. I think I announced your name when it was drafted. I'm pretty certain. Everyone wants to join the FCL. That's just how it is.
Even if they're in the actual
We
league,
did
they
get a
like-
Streamlabs that came through. This one is
I'm
from
sure you did.
Daniel.
Straight to your bank account.
And Daniel says,
Every time he gets one, just ching, that's what he hears.
I should start putting that sound on the stream.
And notice, wait, here's the other thing. Notice he doesn't tell you the amounts of the Streamlabs. Do you see that? He never
never
says
know.
the amount.
We never know.
It's just very odd to me,
Okay.
Jake. It's very
How can players from the fan leagues enter the FCL? Do they need a certain amount of wins? Would an audition tape be involved?
Yeah, that's another process that we're working out. You know, working on how we're going to give more people who weren't on the initial draft list, how we're going to get them involved. And there's going to be information about that coming in the coming week. It's again, we have a roster of 40, you know, and that's enough for me to get going. And as soon as more talent is needed, there's going to be information that comes out about that. I don't want to limit it just to that list of people who didn't get drafted, because there's a ton of stars out there. There's probably people watching this show right now who could be the FCL champion. And I expect them to be. So we're going to have a process for that when the time calls for it. Initially, we're going to go with the talent who was already kind of approved and screened through Skybound and the Schmoedown, and then we'll branch out. But it's going to be you know, not too soon, if that makes sense. Too soon? Not too soon?
Yeah,
Too
I mean,
soon.
either way, just add an extra one.
I mean, you're a liberal arts major. You should know. Right?
I am. And I don't appreciate the condescension in your voice. Magna cum laude. Communication
Oh,
studies.
excuse me.
Emphasis on rhetoric, Brian, which means I talk and you listen.
That's fair. That's what I'm here for.
Oh man.
I've
No, Brian, I was going to ask you if you had anything to say. Go ahead.
my main question is, and I don't know if you can answer this, is can someone get taken during the year into the Schmoedown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, at any point, as long as the waiver wire is open and free agency is occurring, or there's open roster spots, yeah, at any time they could watch the debut of the FCL on March the 30th, 3 p.m. Pacific time on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Twitch channel, and say, I want all 4 of those competitors right now in the Schmoedown, and then we'd have to move on from there. That's how it's going to be, and that's how I want it to be. Wild West.
Now here's an extra step to that. If
course.
that person has a match scheduled in your league,
Does it matter?
Does it matter?
It'd probably be a case by case. It depends on where we are. Like, I mean, if they're having a match tomorrow, probably let's pump the brakes here, sweetheart. We can wait until 5 p.m. tomorrow to make this move happen.
I'm thinking baseball, where it's like, boom, they stop playing, they leave the dugout, they're on a plane to another team.
It's going to be pretty rapid. If someone makes the call that they want them, sure. But with the Schmoedown, obviously it's taped. Most of the matches are taped, so we have a little bit of flexibility there. They're not going to be playing the Orioles tomorrow night, for a 3-game stretch. So I think that we'll have a little bit of time and wiggle room there. But I mean, I hope that happens. I really do. Yeah. I hope that I have a whole big card planned and it goes to hell in a handbasket because they want all the talent. That's my goal.
I mean, we talked to a number of rookies that weren't drafted that we're looking forward to seeing in the FCL if they are in fact involved. And I mean, just by talking to them, we got the idea that they could be someone who could really impact the Schmoedown by playing games, winning points, stuff like that. And I hope they get the chance. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there are tons of people who are on the board or in a dossier or whatever that didn't get the opportunity. And again, we're going to highlight those people, and we're going to make them the next star of the MTS. Hopefully, if they do what they do, we do what we do. Meet in the middle. Sky's the limit.
So, being that according to PLD that there's 43 to be exact, one person's already.
Thank you, Paul Denuzia.
Yeah, thank you. One
Someone
person
bringing
already.
some stats and information to this show.
Yeah, Frank's nowhere to be found.
I don't know. I texted him. He didn't tell me. But anyway, go ahead.
He's Frank.
It's Frank. Do you have any names you want to drop? Since there is 42 others to be announced.
Can you drop some names?
No, I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. Because though every name will be coming out this upcoming week. You will find out every single name. So I want to save a little bit of suspense for everybody. And the thing is this: it's not like we're going to say, "Oh, we have John Roca." There's no big surprise there in terms of that. So I want to keep them all secret. I'm gonna let. Well, here's the thing I will say: I'm going to let the players themselves make the announcement. So you will hear the players themselves, each and every of the one of the 43 incredible individuals who have joined this inaugural season of what is going to be a mainstay in this community. I'm going to allow them to make that announcement. So I don't want to spoil it for them. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. David already announced it for himself, so I'm going to let them announce it for themselves so that they can get all the glory. Yeah.
So basically, we need to have kind of like a March Madness reveal show, is what you're saying.
I mean, you can do whatever you would like. That's the great part of this country is you're free to do whatever you want.
I do want to ask. You want all the players to reveal it themselves? Are they going to do it on their individual channels, or would it be on possibly like the FCL Twitter?
Yeah, I think it's going to be on OnlyFans.
Yes.
We're talking about them revealing themselves. No, it'll be on their whatever their platform is. Yeah, whatever their platform is of choice.
Onlyfans.com/FCL.
Brian Ward
That's
has
probably already a thing that I don't want to know what it stands for. I don't want to know.
Search that at your own risk.
Brian Ward has a good comment that needs to be brought up here. What about people getting released from the Schmoedown? Can they go to the FCL?
100%. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So do you have a limit of roster spots that you want for the FCL, or is it like, say, people keep coming in throughout the year, you're just going to take them?
Yeah. I mean, there's the thing is, again, we don't have factions, so we're not bound by the limits of roster spots. It's unlimited. And here's the thing. I might say, you know what? For example, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Booker have this beef with one another over cooking or something like that. And so, like, if I say, you know what, we're going to settle that in the FCL, we can do that. We can settle that in the FCL. They don't have to have. It's not like, oh, Booker, Freddie, I'm sorry, we're at 99, and we can't go over 100, so you're going to have to sit and wait your turn until next year. We have that flexibility and that ability to even make, say Jill and Brian finally had it with Jake, and we want to do a 2-on-1 handicap match in the FCL. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
I would just mess that up for Brian because I would
we do a 1 versus 3 handicap match 3 times a week on this channel, and they lose every time. So
and we still get our butts kicked. So
if it wasn't for Christian Harloff and him telling me we can't swear or do obscene gestures anymore.
I mean, he didn't say we can't.
There's one being directed at you in my mind right now.
I mean, Brad set it up, and I ran with it. So
to be fair, Jake has been called out by Zipper in a Mad Max Fury Road, but unfortunately, Zipper is
he's in Schmoedown.
Schmoedown, so
sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. All right, Jill, Brian, do you guys have any other questions regarding FCL details, info that you guys would like to ask Brad?
I'm going to keep prying because I'm just that kind of person. Is there any sort of exclusive that you can drop for us? Whether it be anything, maybe a player.
Let's see. I'm thinking. What can I say? What can I say?
What are you allowed to tell us?
Well, I'm allowed to do whatever I want. I'm the commissioner. That's the great thing.
Fair, valid.
Then why aren't you dropping names? If you can do whatever you want, why aren't you dropping names?
Because first of all, Jack. First of all, Jack. Here's a good piece of advice. Remember I told you that piece of advice that I got from Bruce Pritchard about Vince McMahon and if it can't go wrong with his life. Here's another great one that I learned from the world of wrestling. It came from The Rock. And it was know your role and shut your mouth, Jack, whatever your name is. Okay.
Oh God.
We all know who the real brains are in that household that you have. All right, we all know who the real brains are, and it's not Jack or Jake or anything.
Here we go.
Okay, we all know who the brains are. Okay, second of all, is there something exclusive that I could announce to you? Because I would like to do that. But I just don't know.
Sure everyone in the chat would also enjoy that.
All 89 people. Oh, excuse me. Now 94.
They heard exclusive and went, what?
Yeah.
The man of many voices, Josh Robert Thompson, will be in the FCL. How about that? Josh Robert Thompson will be in the FCL. There's a little bit of. I haven't said that anywhere.
That's some character work right there with that guy.
Yes.
Do you have the pew 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 noise on your board?
No, but I have this. This is much better.
Give us some Roni, brother. Oh yeah.
I have that.
I'll take it.
I don't know if you want any Roni, but onlyfans.com/FCL. You can get all the Roni you want.
Mr. Robert Adams has one here. Will the matches be saved and published on YouTube later?
They will be on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're going to be on the Schmoedown Extra YouTube channel.
Nice.
Which is curated by the incredible Frank Jinga Janish.
You literally have it. That's what I was
from a sexy player.
You said pew pew pew. I thought you were talking about like a BB gun going off. I don't have that on deck. Why would I have a BB gun?
Or like Star Wars blasters.
Yeah. No, if you're gonna, Brian, if you wanted the air horn, just say air horn or say ba 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 ba.
Okay,
don't go
fine.
pew pew pew.
Excuse me, I didn't know it was Baba and not pew pew. You almost got a swear word out of me on that.
Come on, my man. Come on.
Oh my god.
Pew pew pew. Like nobody would ever say that.
Jake dressed up as the Astros trash bag for Halloween last year, right?
Well, Jack is a trash bag, so you know what? That was
perfect.
I love how this has just become the roast hour.
Deflect.
I mean, my name's Jake, so I don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I know is 2017 World Series champions, Houston Astros, still stands.
Barely.
Look, come on now. I don't have to relitigate this. I don't have to relitigate. Don't make me. Don't make me. What is that? It's a trash can sound? Oh my God, I'm gonna hit a home run now. Like y'all are all a bunch of crazy people. If you thought of what really made the difference in the World Series, you're giving no credit to anybody.
My face hurts.
Oh my God, it's gonna be a curveball. You know they still have to hit it, right?
I mean,
just because they know what the pitch is, does that mean they're automatically going to hit it? No.
I'm a Dodger fan, so I'm going to plead the fifth. It's gonna.
We just stay quiet when she says that.
And Chuck Caslow. Yeah, I'm reading the chat. That ring is plastic and fake like the wind. No, it's plastic and fake like your face, jabroni.
He's a Yankees fan, so.
Well, that means he's an idiot. It comes from upbringing.
I appreciate that.
Oh my God, it's become the roast hour.
I'm sorry. Y'all got me worked up.
You're good. I'm sure they're loving it.
We're good, Chuck.
I'm sure they're loving it. All right, we'll head to wrapping up. Brian, Jill, do you have any other final questions that Brad may give away, may not give away before we let him go?
I tried. I'm trying to get some more out, but it's so secretive, and I appreciate that. More
people knew what was going to happen in the season finale of WandaVision than they know of what's exactly going to happen with the FCL, and that is by design. Now, Brian Ward. By the way, I have my eye on the chat. Brian Ward, if I didn't love you so much and appreciate your work, I would retaliate and respond to your comment, but it's actually kind of humorous. So I'm gonna let it slide.
Be careful. He cranks out those images in 5 minutes after someone says something.
No, I know. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Brian Ward. I'm pro Ward over here. Okay, I'm very pro Ward.
All right. Well, we'll finish off with the question that we always ask our guests here on POV. We're all movie fans. It's kind of what brought us together, the movie trivia Schmoedown. Do you have a favorite candy and a favorite movie snack?
Favorite candy and favorite movie snack?
If not the same.
I was about to say, can they be the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
I'm so glad you went smart, Alec, on that. I was like,
you didn't ask me to tell you what it is.
What
you said,
is
do
your
I have
favorite
one? Yes, I
candy
do.
and or movie snack?
See, that's that liberal arts major coming.
Oh my
God. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Yeah, my favorite movie snack is aligned with my favorite candy. It's the Sour Patch watermelon.
Yes.
The watermelon ones. Now, when I was a kid, I don't know if anyone remembers, when I was younger, the watermelons were different. They were a little bit longer and flatter, and now they're smaller and thicker. I don't understand the difference there. I guess they're changing with the times. But nevertheless, the watermelon Sour Patch, great one. Now, here's the other thing. Had a friend who his name's Emerson. Shout out to Emerson. What up? I don't have anything for him. I can't. We would go to the movies all the time together, and his mother would take us. And I remember his mother would buy these Starbursts they came in the bag, and it came in like in a big bag in a Starburst. Well, she didn't know that they weren't already like unwrapped. Yeah, like that, but they weren't unwrapped. But I guess while we were watching Castaway, she was so enthralled with what was going to happen with Wilson, she was just popping these in her mouth, like they were Tic Tacs, and they were completely wrapped.
Oh my God!
And I had the wherewithal at a very young age to be like, hey, that those still have like a wax coating on them, right? Like you gotta unwrap them. Oh, so good, so good. But yeah, Sour Patch watermelon.
Love it.
Sure. Yeah, cool.
Jesus.
Brad Gilmore and this bitch.
Well, Brad, thank you so much.
I have one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
Please hold.
Who did you vote for Rundown Award?
Well, you know what? It's interesting you bring that up.
Of course you would, Brian. Of course you would.
I looked at it long and hard.
Okay.
I broke them down one at a time. I I actually had a whole Excel spreadsheet of the pros and the cons and the negatives. I got input from everybody in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown universe, and I talked to Frank. I prayed on it. I asked the float what she thought, and I ultimately decided to skip it and not vote for anybody.
Good answer, Brad.
Couldn't be bothered.
Good answer.
There you go. PLD coming in with a super chat.
PLD stands for pretty little what? Okay.
Well, again, Brad, thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out the last hour or so. It was fun to talk. Finally, I know last time you were on the show, we had a little battle between Kevin Smets and you. It's finally good to get you back on the show.
You had to bring that up. You know, I thought we had such a great conversation. Then you got to bring that up, but it's okay. It's okay.
Take the knife, twist it. Twist.
You've been taking stabs at me all night. I just took one.
Okay, Jack. Whatever you say.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they have a challenge that was thrown out at some point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Still stands. Yeah. I'm here. I'm an easy man to find. You know what I mean? I'm an easy man to find.
Lie, but okay.
Easy man to find. What do you mean lie?
You're busier than probably anyone I know. That's for
you
sure.
know what? I mean, that's because you only know me, these two people, and your dog. But other
and
than
Molly.
Yeah, and Molly.
Don't forget Molly Damon. Sorry. Come on.
Sorry, I don't know what's gotten into me. I guess it's the end of the week. You know what I mean? I'm unwinding.
That's fair. That is fair. Well, Brad, good luck to everything coming in the next couple weeks, next couple months. We look forward to seeing it all happen. And just good luck with everything, man. Thank you again.
Excited.
No, thank you all. In all seriousness, I love the show. I love what y'all do. I love that there's people who are as passionate as I am about the Movie Trivia Schmoedown who want to talk about it on a consistent and weekly basis. So shout out to POV, but seriously, check into the Streamlabs thing.
I'm already on it.
Later, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Oh, that was good. That was fun.
My face hurts.
Yeah, a lot of laugh, a lot of back and forth, which was fun. Hopefully everybody in the chat, hopefully you guys got some good answers. FCL, it's coming up real quick. 2 weeks on Tuesday. 2 weeks on Tuesday is the date that we'll be getting it, so.
We got some vague answers. We got just straight played with. So, it's all, there's so much mystery.
And before those who may just be here for the Brad FCL part, if you're interested in that and you may be heading out, I do want to say we will be having some special guests popping in possibly soon regarding FCL. Not tonight.
Oh, I was
future.
I know. I was like, are you pulling like another
No.
card?
Blue Jack.
No surprise guests tonight, but I will say that some possible FCL competitors may be on the show at some point. So
maybe we should do an announcement show.
Look forward to
Brad
that.
did say he wants to give the people, he wants them to announce it themselves. So hey, if you want to announce it on POV, we're here.
Yeah.
Maybe send us an open message DM to the Twitter. Maybe we'll do something.
Yeah, we will happily put together a little bit of an announcement party for everybody who wants to announce themselves for the FCL. We'd love to see it. Anyway, we will definitely come back to FCL. It's going to be important here on the show going forward. We'll definitely be talking about it. We're going to be conversing about it with everything regarding matches and personality, stuff like that. We're going to cover it as much as we can, just like we do this Schmoedown, because we definitely want to talk about it. Obviously, a lot of the players, we're going to see some who have been in the Schmoedown past play, but also a lot of rookies that we talked to over the last number of months. So really, really looking forward to it. And before we move on, I do want to get to one Streamlabs that did come in from Mr. Tim Sim here. He dropped by and said, just dropped by to say that the first episode of my newest after show, The Insight with Tim Sim, comes out tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. Or 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I can announce that my special guests for this episode's were Adam Collins, Danny Ramirez, and Jake Berlin, myself. You will see me on there tomorrow as
Didn't even tell us.
I know.
Cool. Just watch to, find out, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and get to these matches because we do have a lot to talk about. We're going to run through last week's matches real quick. We're going to run through them real quick, and then we'll get to this week's matches because we have a lot to preview, obviously, with the pay-per-view happening on Friday as well. So the first match was Saul and John Humphrey. Saul walks away with KO here, getting the first KO of the season. putting Quirky Mercs in a -1, which is the first time we've seen it. We recapped our thoughts. We recapped our thoughts on the reaction, but Jill, you weren't on the reaction that day. Thoughts on Saul versus Humphrey?
Oh my goodness gracious. Having Sean on the Den last season, I knew that Saul was capable of just absolutely killing it in IG, and he proved himself. Dude was scary. He knocked out Humphrey. I mean, his character work is great. He knows his stuff. Like, when I saw that match, I was so excited for Saul, because I know he took his loss to Hannah last year really hard.
Yeah.
He took it rough, and so he needed that win. And to see him get that win in that fashion, I was thrilled. I was so stoked for him. And I also want to just note that I love the only faction who would treat a -1 in a positive light is going to be the Quirky Mercs. And I kind of love how they kind of turned this negative point into like, we made history, we're the first negative point faction. Like, yeah, like they totally played it off in only the way the Quirky Mercs and Koi Jandrew can, and I love them for that, because they turned this like negative thing into, we did it, we're the first ones to do it. Like, so I thought that was a lot of fun, and kudos to them for just kind of brushing it off and making it into something funny. So I loved that, but I love this match, and I'm so excited to see more of Saul.
Yeah, he looked very scary. He looked very, very scary. He obviously only had the one match last year, and he looks like the off season he took it to heart, and that he studied his tail off, and it seems to be paying off. I mean, he was polling questions that were from new categories that nobody's really talked about inside the Schmoedown, and that he made it look easy. And so I think a lot of people should be worried about Saul in IG. And it looks like Kate saying that he could be the next guy could be pretty legit. I mean, he definitely looks like someone, if he wins his next match and he looks really, really good, he is someone who could probably contend with the belt this year, which is going to be very exciting to see, because Saul came from, he was a fan of Collider Live, called in on a regular basis. Got his chance, coming into LA and was, in tapings and stuff. And then he got drafted. And it's a cool story.
Sean and I sat by Saul at Spectacular.
Nice.
And we had no idea who he was. Just this guy with this beard just sitting up on the balcony with us. And he was sitting next to us for the Star Wars and the IG match. And he was answering these questions left and right. And Sean and I are like, who is this guy? Who are you? And lo and behold, it's our good buddy now, Saul. And
that's awesome.
It's surreal just seeing him finally get that win under his belt, because he deserved it, and I want more Saul.
Yeah, he came in full force and was not going to be denied that win from the second he started playing. And I can't remember like the last time I've seen someone so like absolutely laser focused that nothing is going to literally deter them at all, phase, nothing. Like, I'm going to answer the questions. That's all I care about. Go. Like, and that's what it seemed like. And I was like, whoa. Because, I mean, Kate drafted him high. So she knew clearly what he is going to do.
Was he her second pick after Harper?
He was the first pick of round 2.
Yeah. So her second pick after her.
It was her third pick overall. Yeah, it was because it was the trade with Shannon. It was the 8-9 pick in the draft.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So up there. Yeah. She definitely believed in him, and
he got drafted before some champions. He got drafted by before people who have been competing for years.
Yeah. And so if he's gonna play like that, like all the time, Inner Geekdom is gonna be a bloodbath this year. Yep. And I mean, the Den is not gonna be someone to mess with when they start getting their matches. I mean, they started off fast last year, slowed down in the end, they might be a long haul type team. So
I said after the draft that the Den is a faction to look at. They're going to be a faction to definitely look at when it comes to these points. So
New Kate is bringing a whole new life to the Den.
New Kate,
New Kate is a whole new life.
Mhm.
All right, next match that took place was another rookie match, a debut for both of them. That was the very highly touted character that we knew nothing about of Brother Lomas facing Frankie the Animal Alvarez. We had Stock Exchange. We had the usual suspects. Really, really good match. They both showed up. They both played very well. They both had categories that we hadn't seen much of, and they both did very well in them. Obviously, Lomas had Christopher Nolan, and Frankie had, oh goodness, why am I blanking? Jimmy Stewart, I believe. I think was the category. And then we all know what happened towards the end, the I Am Legend situation. But a lot has been talked about that since the match aired. I'll just kind of give my quick thoughts on it real quick. I don't put anything that's going towards Frankie in the situation of I Am Legend should not be going towards Frankie at all.
No.
It was just a misread, a miscommunication, something that happened on the other side after he had said I Am Legend. And you know what? It happens. Ultimately, it didn't impact the match. It did not impact the match. And so it shouldn't be something that's like discussed or, crazy dramatic situation inside the Schmoedown. It did not matter at the end.
Do you keep saying I Am Legend because it was I
Am Robot. Sorry, I Am Robot. Sorry, that's why because
I was like, oh, maybe he messed up that first time.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's I Am Robot. I Am Robot. My bad. But yeah, it's overall keeping that out of it. Frankie played great. He put himself in a situation to win. He had a great 5-pointer that put Brother Lomas in a situation where he had to answer questions, and Brother Lomas couldn't answer questions. Plain and simple.
I just want more Lomas. I know Brian is terrified of him. Obviously I want more of Frankie too, because Frankie is great and I love the attitude he has when he plays, and I want more of Frankie. Lomas is just such a unique character. And like I had said multiple times, he is if people have not watched WWE or any form of wrestling, AEW, this is prime wrestling character. I've compared him to Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family multiple times. Frankie, you're great. Don't come after me. But I'm just he's just this unique character, and we don't get that very often. I feel like he's kind of, in my opinion, kind of the new Tom, with that crazy over the top character work, which I love and I want more of. And the fact that his background was black and white, and it was this whole thing, and it just built and built. I like it. I dig it.
We will definitely see a lot of him.
Yes.
He scares me. Point out. Terrifies me. I'm afraid of him fully. I won't even follow him on Twitter because I'm afraid he'll say something that will scare me. So, but no, that match was a great match. That was one of those ones that I'm not gonna say an instant classic because it's literally the beginning of the season, but I love a good fight. They're neck and neck, and then
down to the wire.
Yeah. The end, you're like, well, is it gonna go this way? No, he's gonna miss all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that momentum wise, that could have affected the I Am Robot. Sure, I'll give that. Points wise, didn't matter because he didn't answer any of his third round questions. So that's probably why you're not hearing much about it, because at the end of the day, he won off of how many points Frankie won had more points than him, plain out.
Yep.
But that's not deterring to the momentum argument, because you never know. But that was a fun match. That I had been looking forward to that one since it was announced, and it lived up to every second of my excitement and characters, everything. Everything was great. Could have done without the Yankees hat, but other than that, it was perfect. It was
You just had to throw a shot in there, didn't you? You just had to.
If you're wearing a Yankees hat, I'm going to take a shot.
For Frankie, I do want to say that if you get a little animal like from the Muppets and like just have him on your desk somewhere, I might die. Because that's where my animal, like you need like the little animal Muppet. Like do it. It's great. I love it.
Well, yeah, Brian, you made a good point about the match being kind of down to the wire, almost like a very dramatic ending. We got the same thing with the match the next day. We got two back-to-back, two veterans opposite from the two rookies the day before, Brendan Meyer and Chance Ellison. They face off, and what already felt like it was going to be this huge, massive match that could have been very pay-per-view-esque, if you will. It lived up to it. They both played incredibly well. Brendan Meyer went down in the second round, and he did all he could for the third round, putting Chance in a situation where he had to answer his 5. Chance answers his 5s, takes the dub for corruption. And it's interesting because, you know, it being March and so early, you saw a lot of this conversation online about like, oh, does Brendan have what it takes to be in singles? Does Brendan have what it takes to be in singles? And I'm thinking, first of all, he's a former teams champion. Of course he has what it takes to be in singles and to win in singles. But it's also March. Like, we have like 7 seasons of Schmoedown left to...
I'm sorry. Do we not remember? I love Mike Kalinowski to death. He's one of my favorite players, top 3 favorite of all time. Did Chance not carry the team pretty heavily in teams last year with his
I'm
questions?
talking about Brendan. I'm talking about Brendan.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about Brendan.
Sorry. The Chance argument, that drives me nuts. That's all I heard.
For my thing with Brendan, the thing that blows my mind is Brendan was the first player to take Adam Collins to overtime. So the fact that people are saying, is he ready for singles? He has clearly proven himself that he
almost beat Dan Murrell.
He almost like he always gets so close. He loses literally by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are saying that, oh, should he like what are you talking about? Of course he does.
Brendan's
he's a
fantastic.
Beast. He's so great. Like, of course, former teams champion. And people need to stop with their dumb opinions. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call your opinion dumb if you think that, because it is. That's what
Well, outside of that, Chance looked like someone who, and look, a lot of players in normal sports, right? They may start off the season a little slow, right? And it may not have been Chance's best match of all time, and he would probably say that, but he looked to a point where he can get to a point later on this year where he can almost be unstoppable. He looks really, really, really good.
Could we see Chancey 3 belts this year?
I think there's a chance of seeing that this year more so than last year.
I mean, the big thing was Chance can't answer his 5-pointer, and clearly he can, because he nailed that last one. And I mean, Chance was definitely here to play. I know he had a losing record going into this, but it's one of those cases where you may have a losing record, but that doesn't mean anything going into it.
Grimshaw has a losing record.
Exactly. But
Grimshaw's what, 1-5?
Unless you're Alex Damon in Star Wars, you don't have a winning record. But
literally.
Yeah. But it just, records don't matter when two titans like these go into a match. Like, this could have easily been a number 1 contender. This could have been a championship match. Like, these are all types of things for these two. And it came down to the end. And that's exactly what you expect when these type of people go in the ring against each other. Mm-hmm. Coming down to the end of the wire, you got to answer your last question. You got to be solid throughout, but be ready for that 5-pointer, because that may win or lose you the match. And that's what it came down to again.
These two are the future of the league. Two of the many. Two of the many. But they are in that tier of players right now that can play for a while because of their age, because of how hungry they are. Maybe it didn't go their way the first season or two, but we're definitely going to see a lot of them here in the future, especially this season. There's going to be a lot of chance in Brennan going forward. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and shift gears to this week. We have 3 really cool matches to start off before the pay-per-view. The first one is an IG match of 2 veterans, and both are on different factions this year. That is Brandon the Hitman Hannah for the Stars and Eric the Z-Man Zipper for Swag.
We need some new pictures for those guys.
I know.
That is on Wednesday. And so, Jill, I'll start with you. Thoughts on Hannah Zipper IG match? What are you thinking?
I'm so excited for this match because I feel like every time we see Brandon and Zipper, they just get better and better every single time we see them. And character-wise, Hitman can go fall in a ditch. But I love Brandon. I love Brandon Hannah, and I love Eric Zipper. I'm really good friends with both of them. And is Ralph going to be there? Is the question.
Probably not for the Hitman, but Chuck's taking Ralph. So
yeah, can we pick Ralph? Ralph just surprises everyone and just takes the win.
I need to see who's on, if I have them on my fantasy team.
I think for me on this one, I'm gonna give the edge to Eric Zipper, especially because now with being on Swag, he has all those heavy hitting IG people in his corner. So with
I just saw Brandy's tweet. It says confirmed on Schmoedown POV by FCL Commissioner Brad Gilmore. The FCL will be a fight to the death.
Yep. She tweeted it the second it happened.
It's the
that's good. I love it.
So because of the factions that they are on, I am going to give the slight edge to Zipper on this one. But I'm stoked for this match. I'm excited to see Hitman again. Although I always give the character a whole bunch of crap on this show, it is a great character because everyone hates him. So he's doing something right. So yeah, I'm going to give the edge to Zip in this one.
Brian?
I love both of them. These two, you've got the nicest guy trying to be the meanest person. and then I'm a shill for Eric Zipper. So we're
all shills for Eric Zipper.
I know. I mean, yeah. This is one of those ones where I don't care who wins. I just hope it's good. I'm like 51-49 Zipper. Like I love Zipper. He cracks me up. He's just too funny. So, although unless one of them is on my fantasy team, then I'm gonna go that way. But
I don't think any of them are on mine.
No, they're not on mine. So I can go with whoever I want. I think I'm gonna go Zipper on this one. Yeah, but it's gonna be close.
It's tough. It's really, really tough. I really do enjoy both of them. I also like where they are this season as far as factions go. Me too. Zipper obviously fits best in the dungeon, point. Right? Zipper fits really well in the dungeon, which is where he was last year, but or the past 2 years, I should say. But I feel like he needed something to kind of just put him over that little speed bump that he's been having. And he's only been an IG so long. He's only been an IG player for so long, and I think Winston might help him there. I really do. Obviously, Chandru is there as well, which is big, and even all the craziness that's happening with Chandru right now, and trying to go bad and stuff like that, and get Winston out. They're still going to help teammates, I would imagine, and that's big for Zipper. On the flip side, Brandon Hannah might be in the best situation he's ever had as a player. Roxy might not be the inner geekdom goddess of quizzing or studying or whatever, but she is one of the best managers, period.
Yeah.
She is. And he also has an incredible amount of great players at his disposal to help him studying. Alex Damon, Zach Burkett, Janine the Machine. There's a lot of players on that faction that know IG movies very, very well. And that could be very good for Brandon Hanna. I'm going to go 51-49 Brandon Hanna. I think Hanna might be on – I think that this might be his best year yet. I really do. I think that he might be in a situation where it's going to be his best year yet. I also really, really want to see Saul versus Brandon Hanna again.
Me too.
I really want to see that. And for that to happen, Brandon Hanna has to win.
I'm very curious to see how Brandon and Roxy interact with each other.
That's what I can't wait for.
Yeah. I think their characters together are going to be very interesting.
Well, and Roxy's not going to take anything from anybody. And Brandon, what has he done to people? He's given everything to everyone.
So, So I'm curious as to how he's going to react to her. Because she's not going to take his ish. So she's going to just clap right back. So I'm very curious to see how the Hitman is going to take that.
Absolutely.
And for anyone that cares, this is a Molly versus Dwayne match.
Ooh.
They both need it. So,
because you're in first.
I have 2 points.
I think
it's a long season, guys. It's a long season. All right, Thursday's match this week is a Star Wars match. Didn't get one last week. We have 2 rookies making their debut. That is the one and only, which was said here on this show, I believe, the one and only Lacey Gillerin up against gold leader himself, Evan Bushkar. We have the Den versus Finstock Exchange. Brian, I'll start with you on this one. Who are you taking?
This might be, for some people, what's the word I'm looking for? An underdog fight. But I am going to go with the one and only Lacey Gillerin. That's where I'm going for this one. It's going to be close. I have a feeling these two are going to be like this, but I'm going to give Lacey an edge. I think she is ready to go, ready to fight this one out. And I think this could be another strong win for the Den. Just saying.
Joe?
Evan is on my fantasy draft.
Uh-oh.
So let's go gold leader. But I am so excited to see another woman in this league. I am so excited to see what Lacey can do. But I've got Evan on my draft. So give me them points, gold leader. Let's go.
This is going to be a similar pick to what I made last week for Frankie against Brother Lomas. I've talked to Lacey. I listened to the show, the Resistance broadcast. I know what kind of Star Wars she knows. I know how heavily involved she's in. I've talked to Gold Leader too, but I don't know what Star Wars is to him, right? We've only had a short conversation with him. I know much more on Lacey's side than I do Gold Leader's side. And it really just comes down to picking someone I know a little bit more of. I really like Lacey. I think that she brings a cool personality to the league. She seems to have this little fire under her, but I would not be surprised if Gold Leader comes out and just crushes. He's definitely one who's been talking a lot for the past couple months, and I hope he can back it up. But I'm going to give the slight edge to Lacey on this one.
Fair. The thing I'm curious is, and I'm sure at this point, I know Lacey is probably a little bit newer to Schmoedown, whereas I feel like Gold Leader's probably been watching for a little bit longer at least. So I'm hoping that doesn't really play a factor into it. But I think this is going to be a good one. Give me a Star Wars match anytime and I'm going to be happy.
I was going to say, the more Star Wars matches, the better. So
yeah, I love me a Star Wars match.
All right, let's go and shift to Fridays.
This is Dwayne versus
Jill
here. Yeah.
All right, Friday's match is a good one. Two veterans here. Janine the Machine for the Stars up against Jader the Hurricane Paramo for the Den. New member of the Den here. Jill, I'll start with you on this one again. I imagine it's going to be a tough pick. Janine or Jader?
It is a tough pick for me on a personal level because both of them are friends of mine. But this is Janine's year. I want Janine to come out guns a-blazing, and I want her to just take names and kick butt this season. And so I I'm rooting for Janine on this one. If whoever wins this one, I'm not mad about because I love them both dearly. So whoever takes home that W, I'm absolutely thrilled. This is such a great matchup, can I just say? Because I think this is a pretty even
Yes, 100%
battle here. But I'm rooting for my girl. Let's get it, Janine.
Yeah. This is a 50-50 match where it could just literally wherever the coin falls type thing. I think this round will be decided in the second round. Wheel.
I agree.
I think wheel will be the determining factor of this one. I think Janine's gonna maybe take this one. I think so. Again, this is another one where I feel like it's like 51-49, where it's like
me too. It's hard.
It's just I don't know. It's a tough one. This is a very tough one. I feel like they are. This to me feels like one of the most evenly matched ones that I've seen. Like this is so right here. So
yeah, it's hard. I've wanted to see Janine succeed for so long. I've wanted to see her succeed for so long, especially on her own in a singles division. She's been at it for so long, and I think she can. I think she will. But I'm also I really like Jader. I really do. And he has this really cool story. We were finally able to talk to him after the draft a few weeks ago, or I guess over a month ago. And also, Brian, to your point about the second round, Jader's had a lot of good luck with the wheel. He's gotten a lot of stuff that's gone his way in his matches, and he's done well with that. And so I think that might be a situation here. You're right. It's another 51-49 situation, but I'm going to go in Jader's favor. I also think that he, just like Zipper or Hannah, excuse me, he's in a really good situation. Remember, he got tossed around last year, and then he was on the Droogs, and he wasn't in a good situation. He was traded early. He got put on a faction that lost their manager, and then the manager was kind of just like an ish. He's in a really good situation now with Kate. He's got people behind him like Goddard, like Paul Preston, like Saul. There's a whole faction behind him who's probably helping him every day heading into this match, and I really do think that's going to help. I'm not that it's not going to help Janine, but I just think that I'm going to give the slight edge to Jader here for this one.
I'm very curious to see how well Roxy and Janine works. I think that could work very well.
Me too.
So, and this is a Sean versus Abby match.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Let's make some way too early predictions for the pay-per-view. We have the undercard match. Undercard match here is Oyama versus Bibbs, a singles match happening this Friday live at 5 p.m. Pacific. And I do want to touch, because the pay-per-view is happening, everybody, we will not be doing a reaction to Janine and Jader because it runs right into that match. You might see coverage from us later on, but we'll be covering the pay-per-view and checking that and watching that. So let's start with Oyama and Bibbs, two veterans, two former champions, starting off their season. Swag and Mercs both staying with their previous faction. Brian, I'll start with you. Who you got?
This is a I don't even know. I'm strictly going off of he's my number one draft pick, so I'm gonna go with Bibbs on this one. Literally, but I mean, don't come for me, Paul, please.
Paul, come Jill.
Can I just say whoever is booking these things this season, if it's Christian, if it's somebody else, all of these matches that we're getting are like, they're all so evenly matched.
They're all heavyweight fights.
They're all heavyweight fights. And Oyama and Bibbs, both former singles champions.
5.
I'm going to go with Paul. I'm going with Paul.
She cracked under pressure.
I'm going with Paul on this one.
Look, I really like both these players. I do. I love what Paul his character has become since he's been with Winston. I thought it really helped him. I really wanted to see him succeed last year. But I got to stick with my boy. I got Bibbs. I got Mercs. I'm a Merc. I want to see Bibbs go back for the singles belt. I really, really do. I want to see him back there. He got knocked out last year by Liv Shannon Miller in a great fight, but I think that he can get back there easily. But the same thing with Paul. This is a situation we talked with Chance and Brendan, where no matter who loses, we're going to see a lot of them both this year.
Yes.
The season is going to be very, very favorable to them both, whether it's a singles tournament or matches in general. Let's not forget, they're both the heavyweight hitters for both their factions. Paul is the number 1 draft pick for Winston. Bibbs is the number 1 draft pick for Coy. And so it's crazy that this is the undercard match, but because there's not a belt involved, it's an undercard match, and it's going to be a good one. I cannot wait to see this one go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. That makes us that shifts us right into the title match, the Star Wars.
That's me versus Frank for anyone.
We have Alex Damon defending the belt, going up against Andrew DiMolanta, who is finally getting his title shot, happening next Friday. The Star Wars Championship is on the line. Brian, who you got?
Do I need to even say it? I mean, come on. I'm never picking against Alex at this point. When he loses, if he ever loses, then I was wrong that day. But at this point, why even bother picking against Alex? So, yeah.
Jill?
Yeah, I said this on my stereo with Maxwell yesterday. There are only 2 instances in which I would pick against Alex Damon, and that is if he is competing against Sean Sullivan or Molly. So, yeah, Damon's gonna keep on trucking along with his history, world record title run, whatever it's called. He's just, I think at this point, like, they should just like implant the championship just into the wall of their house, because I don't think it's gonna go anywhere anytime soon.
The Alex Damon Star Wars belt.
I mean, at this point,
It'll be renamed when he retires.
Like,
It'll be renamed.
You got it with this point. Like,
yeah. I won't bet against Alex Damon until the day that I see him lose. And exactly what Jeremy said here, this is the match that I will possibly ponder the idea of going against Alex.
Yeah.
That's the one that scares me more than this one. It is nothing against Andrew DiMolanta. It is absolutely nothing against Andrew DiMolanta. And I think he's in a great situation with Coy. And it's funny because I'm going up against my Mercs. But it's because it's up against Alex Damon.
Yeah.
We've discussed it. We've talked about it. Alex hasn't really shown too many flaws or like mess ups, if you will, like just like hiccups, I guess, inside of a match, right? Like a brain fart of an answer, or thinking of something too quick, or saying the wrong thing, or just like anything like that. We've seen that from Andrew. And the big question is will that be fixed when the match comes? Is the faction going to help him? Did the offseason help him? And that's solely what I'm basing it off of. I've seen more consistency, which is what you need from Star Wars.
Yep.
I've seen more consistency in Alex than I have from Andrew, but I would not be surprised if Andrew does win. We've seen his knowledge.
Yeah.
We've seen what he's able to do as far as a Star Wars competitor.
Yeah.
The wealth of knowledge is absolutely there. But he's never faced Alex before. And it's hard to get to go up against someone who has continuously defended the belt multiple times, and who I think may be more hungry than ever, because he has so many options to defend the belt against this year. It's the best the division's ever been, and I bet you he's going to want to hold on to the belt against all of them.
Yep.
Either way, it's going to be very, very exciting and very tense and anxiety-driven. Whole nine.
I'm a hot mess.
Fantasy-wise, this is Sean versus Frank. Sean has Alex.
Of course he does. I will say, too, I said this on my stereo yesterday, does anyone really want Alex to lose? Because if he does, guess who's going to be in a Star Wars tournament? And no one wants to be on the same bracket as Alex Damon in a Star Wars tournament. So,
yeah, putting. And I think I think Alex would have fun doing that.
I think so too.
But the division itself, like you said, the division itself, that would not be good for the division itself. If Alex is playing 3-round matches, just go away. Just go away. Like, that's Sorry.
You know how many points he could probably rack up going through that tournament for the stars?
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, and this is a really good point. This is a really good point Jeff makes here.
That's true.
If he loses, he does get an automatic rematch.
Yes,
he does. So that's a really good point to make. But either way, like just hypothetically, say that he loses both of those, Alex is still in the field of players for both tournaments, or at least for a little while. That's kind of a big deal. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
Imagine going into a Star Wars tournament and your first match is against Alex Damon. It's like, welp, this was fun.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know how that would. I don't know how that would happen. I mean, an 8-person tournament with Alex Damon in the tournament. Oh, good luck.
Have fun.
Everybody.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of content happening for Schmoedown this week, everybody. We have 5 matches. We will be doing reactions to Wednesday and Thursday's matches. And then we'll talk about it, but we're looking into possibly doing some kind of clip outs or reactions for the actual pay-per-view itself, because for the most part, we do watch them together, especially for the big ones. But Jill, there's also something else happening this week.
Oh my God, that's right.
There is something happening this weekend. There is indeed. I wonder what that could be. Oh, that's right. It's our next episode of Happy Hour. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. If you have been watching POV for a while, y'all know how I feel about our guest this Saturday. It's Miss Marisol McKee and the singles champion, Adam Collins. Y'all, it's St. Patrick's Day. Chaos is going to ensue. It's going to be straight bonkers. We will have that recipe out hopefully by tomorrow, no later than Tuesday.
It'll more than likely be Tuesday.
We are still tweaking and perfecting it, but
you're so stubborn.
Y'all, this drink is both delicious and boy is it deadly. So it's hijinks will ensue. We'll probably get more trending hashtags like we did last episode. Hashtag crowd surfing for Jesus. You know, it's
believe it or not, Jill, that was actually the first episode.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was 2 months ago.
That's insane. Well, and then of course last month we had our historic newlywed game episode where we got some freaking cute clips of everybody.
The ideas that we have for this show.
We have so many ideas planned for Happy Hour.
Guys, just so you know, we have this show like planned out like months in advance.
We do.
Just for like guests and stuff. And it was after Thursday's match, I believe, or sometime last week. Mm-hmm. We thought of an idea that's gonna blow your mind.
It's gonna be the best.
And we're teasing this like months in advance, and I'm sorry, but my goodness.
I also asked. I asked potential people involved and got confirmation.
Really?
Of that specific thing. So.
Oh, of course. Was that even an option?
Yes, it is. It was an option, but I got confirmation. So.
But yes, anyway, Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on this channel, guys. Happy Hour. Jill and Molly hosting Chaos with Adam Collins and Marisol McKee. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting.
My liver hurts already.
Yeah, like Jill said, it's going to be a very St. Patty's Day kind of episode. And
let's be honest, as corruption people are going to be on this, there may or may not be 1 or 2 more corruption people that will force their way onto this episode. So you never know.
You never know what could happen in a happy hour. You never know who decides to walk into the bar and you say, "Hey, what's up? Come have a drink with us." So,
oh god,
you never know what could happen.
Go slow on these drinks. Trust us.
You can't tell me what to do, Brian.
Oh god,
the drink will be out on Tuesday. We're refining the recipe, and we will make sure it's out on Tuesday. That when everybody has time to go out and get the ingredients for it. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very exciting.
Artist, that's exactly who I was referring to.
He did make the cocktail. He did make the cocktail for.
Yeah, Sean is our own personal bartender for this show. So
yeah,
and he does some really, really good stuff. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up today's show, everybody. If I'm not missing anything, I believe we covered everything we had. If you missed the first end of the show, the first hour, guys, we had a great conversation with Brad Gilmore. The new commissioner.
It was the
chairman.
Brad Gilmore roasting POV hour.
Yeah, and you know what? I enjoyed every second of it. It was a blast.
too.
Jack
Brad,
had a great time.
Brad
was
on,
Jack loved
giving us some insight and some information about the FCL, the first class league, the developmental league for the Schmoedown. And we're going to see a lot of new faces coming into the FCL, which is very exciting. Also, to any FCL members who are out there who have not been announced yet or who have not announced themselves, if you guys want a platform to announce yourself, we would happily have you guys on the show. We will happily carve out a time to
Maybe
do.
We'll do a special.
Week. So if you are interested, you can hit us up on the Twitter DMs. You can hit me up on Facebook, because I know some people just have Facebook and not Twitter. You can message me on Facebook directly. We would happily carve out some times to give you guys a little bit of a platform to announce yourselves into the FCL. So, and for those of you who aren't involved, if you want to get that out to the FCL competitors or people who you may think is in the FCL, let them know. We'd love to have them. So, that wraps up everything. Let's just go around the table real quick. Brian, where can everybody find you online?
God, that came at me so fast. I was like, what? Excuse me. Be a Volcino on Twitter and Apocalypse Movies and here.
Jill?
On Twitter and Instagram, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's. Sometimes, apparently, now you can catch me on stereo with the Pajukkins own Maxwell Haddad. Sorry, I have to whisper Pajukin now every time. If you watch the show, you would know. And you can catch me this Saturday on Happy Hour Party. Yeah,
POV is on Twitter at Schmoedown POV, right up there above Jill. Streamlabs links, if you guys have questions, all the tips go straight to me. You can hit the Patreon link in the description. For you patrons, you $20 patrons, tomorrow is the hangout. Look out for the link. Tomorrow is the hangout with us. We're going to be hanging out tomorrow evening.
I may or may not be drinking the signature cocktail tomorrow.
So if you are interested in that type of stuff, watch-alongs, which will be coming up in just about over a week, more reactions, a Q&A, check out the Patreon, guys. It's a really, really good time. It's fun. You also get direct involvement with Happy Hour, which is a really cool thing. So look out on that. And you can find me at Qui-Gon Jake everywhere on social, 2 N's because someone else took it before I did. Apocalypse Movies multiple times a week. And here multiple times a week. So again, for all of us here at POV, plus Molly, who has the night off, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the comments and donations. We love you guys, and we will see you guys next time.